What's up, y'all? I am Jaren. I am a voice teacher, speech trainer, and the founder and director of this Blessed by the Best studio, the Jaren M. LeGrand Studio. Man, when this came out last night or yesterday, whenever it came out, I was like, shut up. I honestly didn't know what was happening until I just got on YouTube in bed and I was like, oh, this has happened. I need to check this out. And I knew I needed to talk about it. So here we are. We're going to do it right now. But before we do that, I want to talk about something real quick. So you know those hoodies, the Be Vocal You hoodies my studio came out with about a month ago that are now available for purchase right now on the studio's website? We now have t-shirts available for pre-order. So we got the same design all around, but now it's on the t-shirt that I got on right now. So I gotta show y'all real quick. You know, I gotta show you. So we got the studio's logo right here, the Jaren M. LeGrand Studio, and I gotta show y'all the back because the back is the best part. I gotta show you the back. The back says, "Be vocally you, be vocally you," and I love this colorway, the black on black. It is so me and it is so the studio. But we also have black with white lettering. So whichever one you want, both are available on the website for pre-order right now. So go get yours. It'll ship in April, so get your pre-order for the t-shirts right now. Get a hoodie, get both, get everything if you want to. And us Jaratones can be twins now with the t-shirts and the hoodies, you know? So get your stuff, get your merch, okay? Now that that's over, let's get back into what we came to talk about, y'all. Here's my own voice analysis of Justin Timberlake's Tiny Desk concert.
Hey, little mama. Hey. Ain't gotta ask me if I want to. Just tell me, can I get a light? Roll you up and let it run through my veins.
That get a light, that little head voice flip right there was so clean. Na, 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 na. You see how it was kind of just sharp and clean and just precise. And it's almost like he took a little moment to kind of adjust it to the head voice moment. And I think it was just kind of the beat and the backbeat of the pacing of the articulation there. But still, I feel like that little moment helped him to really kind of nail that a light on that a light right there, that heady a light right there.
'Cause I can always see the farthest stars when I'm on you.
When I'm on you. A little yodel flip right there. Na 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 na. So the vocal folds changed mass or shape as he switched registers or switched vocal fold mass. Da na na na. You see how that difference happens when I let that yodel flip happen, that register flip? Da na. It's kind of like a yodel flip right there.
I don't wanna ever come down off this cloud of loving you. 'Cause now you got me hyped up on that.
And now you got me hung up on that. That had a little added compression, a very tiny bit of added compression in that. Then you gotta give me all that.
So I wanna see the baby. Wanna be my dealer, baby. All I want is you, baby. One more time. So I wanna see the baby.
He has such a strong, like, heady voice. And I think the strongness or the power and brightness of this head voice comes from how his larynx naturally sits, how his vocal apparatus, if you will, naturally sits. Everything kind of sits high and bright, high and narrowed and bright. And so I feel like with that combination that he just naturally has, it's kind of just how he's genetically made up in here. He has that bright ping in that head voice where he kind of just can float up there without any care and just floats up there with ease. Yeah. But he uses his head voice so much and is so fluid and free. He always has such freedom in that part of his voice.
Wanna be my dealer, baby. All I want is you, baby. You're my little push of love, girl.
Girl. It wasn't girl. No, that L was kind of made into like a vowel, if you will. Girl. Girl. With a little scoop right there. Yeah, so he's not using the L sound on the girl. It's girl. So the L is there. It's kind of present contextually, if you will. But phonetically, it was more girl, girl. So the L is kind of like an undertone there. Not so much a present L, you know, in its truest form, if you will.
Ain't you? Yeah, yeah. My little push of love, girl. Take me to the bridge. Since you came around, I've been living a different life.
And if you notice throughout this song, there's a kind of a backbeat to the articulation. Da 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 da. You see what I'm doing? So I'm not really I'm not really on the beat. It's kind of like a backbeat syncopation, kind of like a groove or a pocket that he's singing in. Throughout the entire song, this articulation is happening. This kind of but it fits the finesse of the song. It really does. It fits the finesse in the pocket, the groove of the song, you know?
I don't wanna come down. This love I got on high, yeah. People call me a user, but I want you. I don't wanna use me to nothing else to do.
Go on and use me too. He really has a great idea of how to switch between his registers, his vocal fold mask, if you will. And he's intentional with those switches, so he knows where he wants to switch and he makes those decisions. A lot of times I get clients in my studio who like have trouble switching between vocal fold masks, registers, whatever you want to call it. And some of it is because they don't know when they want to switch or how they want to switch. If you make a definitive decision to say, I'm going to switch here or on this word or on this note, if you make a definitive decision, and the decision can change depending on the day, depending on the time, depending on how good your voice is, if you're tired, you know. So the bottom line or the lesson here is making an intentional decision of when you want to switch registers. The register shift or the switch will not be as difficult or as hard because you made it up in your mind when you want to do it. So you can make a vocal decision and say, okay, on this note, on this word, I'm going to switch here. Now it does take control in knowing how your voice works and knowing what's comfortable for you and all that kind of stuff too. But making an intentional decision like he is doing can really help you switch registers rather smoothly, or I guess more smoothly than before, because you're thinking about it, you're being intentional with every move that you're making. And then the more you do it, the less you have to necessarily like give hardcore brain power to. You can kind of just do it because your body knows how it wants to switch and how you want to sing the song. So it can become muscle memory in a way down the line as you get more comfortable doing it. But if you're struggling with that, one way to think about it is to be intentional of when you want to switch and make those switches happen versus, I don't know if I want to switch, when I want to switch, because that ambiguity, that questioning can make singing harder or switching registers harder because your voice doesn't know where to go. So you're like, you know, you're like, oh, I don't know where I want to go. But if you say, okay, I want to make a decision, I'm going to switch here, I'm going to register flip here, so there can be even more fluidity in your switching because you know we want to switch. So that part of the process is done because it's an intentional decision. His body when he's in head voice, it's like straight up, and I feel like he almost elongates his posture when he gets up there, and his head kind of goes down. It doesn't go up. It kind of instead of he kind of stays here. You see when that posture is kind of aligned? Again, some more intentionality. Thinking about how you use your body while you're singing. It's way past just hoping for the best, just going for it. How am I positioning myself and being intentional in those positionings physically, mentally, so then when I'm singing, everything is on purpose. Everything is intentional. I'm being as efficient as I can vocally with my execution and my performance, you know? So this is all about intention here. Sing backup singers. I love the fullness of the sound of the band and the singers too. I like how it just has a fullness to it because there's so many instruments and we got horns and, you know, we got all that. So it's all this fullness. The band and such, it sounds really full and solid because there's so many parts playing, little, you know, little pieces of the puzzle. So the big puzzle, when it's put together, boom, it's just a full sound. So we kind of add a little aspirate stops or kind of H sounds, some hays. Something like that. So you kind of press those H sounds in that run right there.
My little push of love, girl, so sweet. Yes, you are. My little push about your love, girl.
Yes, you are. Not yes, you are. Yes, you are. You see how we left the R out? Yes, you are.
Ain't you? Ooh, yeah. Woke up this morning, heard the TV saying something about disaster in the world, and made me wonder where I'm going.
He has a naturally high voice too. I think that's another reason why his head voice is so clear. He just has a higher voice. He just has a very high, bright voice. And I think that there is some nasal play in his sound. There's definitely some nasality that goes into his timbre, his texture, the color of his voice, if you will. And so I think that coupled with a more narrowed vocal tract, kind of just a higher narrowed vocal tract, higher larynx, more narrowed vocal tract, kind of really gives that nasal twangy sound that he has.
There's so much darkness in the world. I see beauty left in you, girl.
No, 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 world. So everything's kind of close together, you know, in the articulation. Nothing, no, it's not open and all of that. It's not all of this. Everything is right here. So everything's kind of more closer in lip shape and articulation, which influences the sound. It kind of gives a croon to the sound, if you will. Kind of like a croon, a nice, smooth croon to the sound.
And what you give me lets me know that I'll be alright. Sing it.
There's almost a little air pressure addition. Be alright. A little bit. It kind of gives that breathy / kind of like compressed sound, if you will. Be alright. I'm probably doing it too much, but it's a very slight added air pressure. Kind of adds that breathiness, and then a little bit of that squeeze sound. You hear it a little bit that I'm doing right here. Be alright. And again, I might be over exaggerating it just a little bit too much, but the essence of what I'm trying to say is right there.
If you
Did you see how the backup singer said life? It was life. So they really took their time in the diphthong. Life. And it was almost like a lower tongue was in the picture instead of life, life. So it changes the sound of the word life when I keep the tongue a little bit lower, the blade of the tongue a little bit lower. Life. You see how it's kind of more, I don't want to say warm, but kind of a taller sound in the mouth, if you will. Life. Is that life? You see when I bring the tongue higher, it changes the sound of life. 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 It's a very small difference, but it does make a difference in how it sounds.
that would be enough.
Enough. Some more H sounds in his runs right there.
Your turn, come on, say. I hear you in the back, you can get louder, come on.
I like that peel off. Oh, yeah. That little peel off they did right there. That was nice.
One more time, come on.
For the lovers, if you're out there, let me hear you say, yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, that's too quiet.
This one's for the lovers, if you're out there, let me hear you say, yeah, yeah,
Come on.
hey, this one's for the lovers, if you're out there, let me hear you say, yeah, 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 yeah.
This one's for the lovers. You see how quick that is? This one for the lovers. So the articulation is less in friction, so it can get through these words a little bit quicker.
If you're out there, let me hear you say, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 yeah.
You can hear that nasality I was talking about earlier. Oh, yeah. A little bit on that ooh. On certain vowels, you can really hear that soft palate lowered. Oh, oh, yeah. And of course, he's doing some other things down here that I'm not doing, but I'm trying to show you that slight color of nasality that's in his voice, along with a more higher, kind of more pingy, narrowed vocal tract, if you will. All right, Justin. He knows what works for his voice. He just does. He knows what works for his voice, and he stays in his vocal pocket so well. And his vocal pocket is vast. I'm not saying he's limited. I'm just saying he just really knows what works for his voice, and he knows his voice really well, and he just sings what really suits his voice, you know? I just think it's great.
Take me home. Thank you.
I love this megaphone. This is such a cool element. We're going to talk about it in a minute.
I bring it sexy back. Them other boys don't know how to act. I think you're special. What's behind your back?
I think it's special what's behind your back. So it's breathy, 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 and fuller, fuller. So it's that I kind of had a breathy insert of the voice. I think it's special what's behind your back.
So turn around and I'll pick up the slack.
So turn around and I'll pick up the slack. He's really playing with inflection and a wide part of his speaking range, if you will. He's really playing with the animation of his voice here in the song.
Come on, sing it with me, say, You see these shackles, baby, I'm your slave. I'll let you with me if I misbehave. It's just that no one makes me feel this way, yeah.
Those vowels are more darker. Misbehave. No, 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 slave. So it wasn't slave. It was kind of more longer, more taller, maybe a little bit more puckered. I'm your slave. Okay? And I can't really see the pucker because the camera was far away, but you can kind of hear a more gathered sound and a more gathered vocal tract up in the oral region, if you will, of the mouth.
Take me to the chorus. I said, come here, girl. Come to the left. Drinks on me. Let me see what you're twerking with. Look at those hips. You make me smile. Body dance, I say, get your sexy on. Get your sexy on.
Get your sexy on. So was it get your sexy on? That N wasn't there. Get your sexy on. So was it on? It was I'm like a nasal. Yeah. Get it sexy on. Yeah, it wasn't on. It was almost like a more open O or like a warmer sound. Yeah.
Get your sexy on. Get your sexy on. Get your sexy on.
I like that. Sing, y'all. These backup singers is clean, okay? They are just clean, but I like the fullness of their sound too. They just sound really good.
Get your sexy on. Bring it down. I'm bringing sexy back. Y'all motherfuckers don't know how to act. Girl, let me make up all the things you like.
He's doing a lot of vocal slides. You see another vocal slide, another vocal throw. You see it's a bigger vocal slide, but it's a vocal slide. You see what I'm saying? So the vocal slides are kind of a more underscore bigger picture instead of each syllable. It's kind of the whole line. singing, but you see the vocal slides, vocal throws are very present in his vocal execution, especially in the rapping and in the singing, in both hands.
You're burning up, I gotta get it fast. Yeah. Take it to the bridge. Say, dirty babe. See these shackles, baby, I'm your slave.
You see these shackles, baby, I'm your slave. So he kind of switched up a little bit on shackles. Na 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 na. It was a quick shift, but it was there. Na 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 na. And then he kind of added vibrato at the end of that line right there. And it was, I'm your slave. It kind of ended that line on like a cool little like dissonant note, if you will.
I'll let you with me if I misbehave. Just didn't know what makes me feel this way. Yeah. Take it to the core.
So let's talk about this megaphone for a second. So obviously the megaphone is a big part of the sound of the song, right? So the megaphone is basically amplifying and funneling, if you will, or focusing the acoustical energy from the voice. So the frequencies, the pitches that you hear from the voice, it's gathering that sound, those frequencies, that energy, and it's amplifying and funneling and focusing that sound through the mechanism called the megaphone. And so that funnel on the outside helps amplify the voice. But I'm gonna take it a step further because there's different sizes of megaphones for a reason. So this megaphone makes them sound a little distorted, if you will. And I don't even like using the word distorted because to me distorted has a negative context to it. So it changes the sound of his voice, okay? But it fits the art of the song. They have it in the original recording. The sound is there, so to speak, right? But you notice the megaphone is small. It's not like a big megaphone that you normally see people have. It's a smaller one. So then a lot of the lower frequencies of his voice are kind of taken out or they're modified. So the smaller megaphone breathes a more higher or brighter sound, if you will. But let me take it a step further and talk about how this sound was intentional. Because in the last, few years, I've seen a lot of artists mess with their own sound of their mic in live performances. Because I think the sound of the mic is a part of their art. It really is. And so people are like, they have their mic set a different way. I'm like, that's the sound that they want. It's a part of their art. It's almost like a visual artist who uses a certain paint or a certain marker, a certain colored pencil, a certain whatever, a certain, scalpel for sculpting. I'm using random words, but I'm trying to get to the point. There's a certain reason why they use certain tools to get the results that they want. There's a certain texture, there's a certain color, certain look that they want. Audibly, there's a certain texture, a certain sound, a certain color that they want in their voice. And so they use their mic settings to produce that sound for the live performances. And so I think a lot of times people forget that the sound of the microphone can be a part of the art itself. It's not a cheat code. It's not, I'm trying to cheat. No, it's a part of the art. It's a part of how they want the sound to sound, how they want the song or their voice or the moment to sound. So people sometimes add reverb on certain songs live and things like that. That's a part of the art. That's a part of the art of the performance, a part of the art of the song, a part of the art of the artist, So I like that the megaphone was used here because it's a part of the art of this song, if you will,
Come to the back. Yeah, VIP. Drinks on me. Let me see what you're working with. Working with. You make me smile. Go ahead, child. Everybody dance. Sexy on. Sexy on. Sexy on.
Oh, you hear that little nasal stuff right there? Oh, there's that nasal stuff that I'm talking about that he has. And you hear the backup singers have that octave. Go ahead, be going with it. He said, and go ahead, be going with it. They both have that octave setting right there.
Sexy on. Break it down. Guitar.
If you enjoyed this analysis, click subscribe down below to click the alert button next so we see when the next video is posted. And if you really like this, give this a thumbs up if you don't mind. And as I will always say to you, be vocally bold, creative, and aware. But most of all, be vocally you. I love y'all so much and I'll see y'all later.